Hello, you're watching Dukascopy TV. I'm Monica Gibson, and joining me down the line today is LeapRate Andrew Saks. Andrew, looking at Europe first, yesterday Greek ministers alluded that Greece may accidentally slip out of the EU. Although not a binding decision, the European Court of Justice today ruled that ECB bond buying programme is legal. Do you think this will serve in any way to allay concerns of losing member states? What is your prognosis for the single currency?
I'm sure that the potential exodus of Greece may serve to allay concerns of nations such as Britain, for example, which doesn't have the euro currency, yet is signed up to a bill which requires it to pay billions of its own taxpayers' money into a nation whose business ecosystem is completely different to that of Britain. Therefore, Greece is constantly in need of bailout money from the IMF instead of being able to develop modern technologies which could in fact turn the situation around. Therefore, if Greece exits, then it may call into question the failure of the Advocate General to outlaw these outright monetary transactions, which at this juncture is likely to be welcomed by the European Central Bank, which in turn may well announce some form of full-scale quantitative easing program, probably sometime next week. This kind of program is widely seen as a sort of predecessor to a more wide-ranging type of quantitative easing. But the thing is, what does that really mean for European business? If you'd asked me this question probably 2 years ago, just coming up to 2 years ago, I would have said yes. But Cyprus is a very different system altogether. It's therefore, despite the bail-in and the collapse of two national banks, Cyprus carried on as normal and there was very little disruption. Greece doesn't have such a business infrastructure. This may well be a controversial thing to say, but I can't see it exiting the EU with all of that debt and then having a clean slate. I think the European Court of Justice may sue the country or make it settle over a period of time, which it has no possible hope of doing. Therefore, one of the only ways out is perhaps national bankruptcy and then the revival of the drachma and start again from scratch.
2014 was a year of the dollar, and so far 2015 seems to be following suit. With this in mind, do you see potential for US trading desks to grow further?
Yes, I do indeed. The difference between the federal United States and what the European Commission wants to view as the federal European Union is that in the United States there's a greater deal of business unity between the entirety of all the states, whereas in the European Union the disparity is immense. Would it not be more effective to establish outside of those cities? You can do in America because the whole country is aligned in terms of business. There are no areas of the US which have less technology than others. You know, there are some specialist companies in northern Michigan, such as Think Liquidity and ILQ, that provide specialist risk management services. This is all a domestic, in-house ecosystem. Therefore, it's quite clear that the US dollar will lead the pack this year, not just because of its upward direction as of 2014's end of year, but also because North America holds itself out as the centre of integrated institutional electronic trading.
And bringing the UK into the discussion, how do you think Britain's liquidity providers will cope if an EU breakup happens?
I think a major factor that's worthy of note, and certainly of concentration here, is the kudos and status that London's electronic trading sector holds with international clients, rather than the jaded British public who have had their investing wings clipped and optimism curbed by 7 years of extreme recession and economic struggle. Outside of the financial sector, of course. So therefore, to answer your question succinctly, if other member states of the EU left the Union, then it would leave Britain a lot freer to do business and provide liquidity and technology under its own remit, with Financial Conduct Authority regulation behind it, which is really well respected worldwide, as well as technology solutions to other firms in the Far East and North America. For example, Gain Capital's purchase of Citi Index for $118 million at the end of last year is a clear demonstration that American firms want British CFD companies so they can expand that particular type of doing business overseas whilst retaining the headquarters in London. It's never French or German or Dutch or Portuguese or Spanish investors which purchase such firms. It's only ever Far Eastern, Russian or North American. Should Britain renounce its EU membership, I'd say the likelihood is that liquidity providers in London, such as Sutton or LMAX, and the recently purchased London Capital Group, which is now going down the liquidity and technology position route for its London office, may be likely to eschew all European markets altogether. Many, many more do so, may move to Britain and do exactly the same if Britain leaves the EU.
Well, viewers, that's all from Andrew and myself for the moment, but don't forget you can hear all the insider info as reported by LeapRate in our daily industry catch-up programmes. Thank you for watching. Goodbye for now.